Hello and welcome to this tutorial on how to make psychedelic art in Photoshop. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make something like this. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and please go ahead and like and subscribe if this tutorial works well for you. All right, let's go ahead and get started making this psychedelic mandala. To get started, what you need is just any image that you like. We're not going to use the whole image, so it doesn't really matter. What I'm going to take is a piece of this painting that I've created. It will just be a random section of it. You could use any image that you want, or it could be a PNG of a specific image. I've done this with things like PNGs of photos of leaves that I've taken and cut the leaf out. It will kind of make sense as we go along. So like I said, what I'm going to use is just this photo of this painting that I've made. What I'm going to do is make a selection out of a piece of it and copy it. So to do that, we can go to our lasso tool if you like. And for example, I could just cut out a random shape. It could be like that. Then you can copy it. I'm going to hit Command J. That's just going to copy it and paste in place. Or you could use something like a elliptical marquee tool. I like using this because it's just kind of a basic shape, and then we can apply a feather to it. So what I'm going to do is hold down Shift, make a perfect circle. I'm going to choose a place that seems interesting, maybe. I don't know, let's go here. There'll be some contrast. So now we've got our circle. Another way, of course, is classic Command or Control C plus V. Got our shape copied. So let's go with this circle. There's a couple things we could do. I'm going to go ahead and copy this over. The quick way to copy is to hold the Alt key and just drag. So you've got two versions. What I'm going to do is take one of these and I'm going to feather it. So I'm going to make the edges of it kind of blurry. This is going to make our mandala kind of blend together a bit more. You can do it either way. I'm going to try it out this way first, and then we can try the other way as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold Control and click this image over here in my Layers panel. That's going to select the circle. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press M. And up here at the top, I'm going to choose Select and Mask. From here, what we want to do is control the feather. So this is going to make it blurrier. We're going to should be able to see a sample of it a bit. So you can see it's kind of blending out on the edges into our mask. But what we're going to want to do is shift the edge inside a bit because we want to make the whole thing quite blurry. Go ahead, let's hit, you can hit OK, or we can output to a layer mask. Let's go ahead and do that so it's not destructive. So you see now we have this kind of blurred one, and this is because of our mask. This makes it non-destructive, so we can kind of hold on to that shape if we like. Let's go ahead, we're going to right-click this and convert this to a smart object. So the smart object means that now our layer mask is gone, but if we wanted to edit this object, we could just double-click into it. We could get rid of that mask if we wanted. We could edit it, we could change it. But for now, I think we're good. No, we don't need to save that. Okay, so now we have our circle piece. What we want to do is then we can pull this into a separate file format. So let's go ahead and go File, New. So depending on what you want to do with this image is what you want to choose here. So if you're going to print it out, you want to go with the CMYK color. I'm going to do it on the screen with an RGB, but if you're printing, you want it 300 resolution. And you want to make it as big as you want to print it, because it's okay to shrink it down, but to make it bigger, it's going to be worse. For the sake of the fact that I'm recording on a screen and everything, I'm going to just keep it lower resolution. So if it's on the screen, 72 is normal for the resolution, RGB color. With the width, let's go ahead and make it like a normal screen size. So let's go to pixels. Our standard high resolution would be 920 by 1080 pixels. And let's go ahead and create that. So now we've got our background. Let's take our little circle here. You can either drag it and move it over here, or you can simply hit Command C. Move over here, hit Command V. So this is a high resolution photo. So when I pull this circle into here, you can see it's massive, it's huge. But that's better, you know, it's okay to shrink things down. I'm gonna go ahead and shrink this down to the size that I think is probably appropriate. Something like this looks fine. The main thing is that what we're gonna do is we're going to transform this down in size. So we want to start big and we're going to transform smaller into the middle. I'm going to put this piece up here in the corner. So when I'm looking at this now, that feather doesn't look so great, right? You can see the edge here and I don't really want to see that. So I'm just going to go in here real quick. I'm going to edit this mask. So when I click on the mask, you can go ahead and see here on the side. Your panels might look different from mine. I've put them this way and now I'm just used to it. I'm going to increase that feather and it's not really doing what I want. Let's go back to select and mask. See if we can, let's feather some more. Shift the edge out. You know what, I'm not liking it. I'm just gonna do it with a brush. Hit B, go to our brush. We're gonna make this not so hard. Make sure you're in your layer mask. We're gonna use, and it's black because I want to get rid of some of these edges here. And I'm going to do my best to just kind of try and evenly do this. You know what? That's not working either. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this layer mask actually. I'm going to hit Command A. And then I want my bottom layer here to be black. I'm just going to delete this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint it back in with my brush tool. So I got it somewhere in the middle here. And I'm going to just brush it back in. And that's going to keep it as a circle. And just keep those edges a little better for me. Alright, I'm going to hit Command S, save that. So that's just saving my smart object. So when I come back in here, you'll see the change. And it's still not great. I'm not in love with it. I'm going to add a layer mask onto it here. And I'm starting to think maybe I should have just gone with a regular circle to keep it simple. Okay, that's fine. That looks good. It's better. It's not really going to matter. I am going to go ahead and, again, convert this to a smart object just to keep it away. I'm going to put it back in the corner. There we go. Wahoo! Now we can do some stuff. So the key to being able to do this is really in repeating transformations and in using actions in Photoshop. So if you don't know where your actions are, mine is over here in the Actions tab. If you need to bring it back up, you go to Window, scroll down to Actions here, click on Actions and it'll pop up. What an action is it allows you to record everything that you're doing within Photoshop, and then you stop that recording, and then when you hit play, it will just run through all of those actions. So what this is going to do for us is it's really just going to make it a lot quicker and easier, so you don't have to keep hitting the same thing over and over and over again. So what we want to do is we could create a new folder first if you wanted. So we can say mandala tutorial. Okay. So once you do that, you can see I have tons of actions because it's quite hard to reuse them. You need everything to be in the exact same place. But for now, anyway, we have our mandala tutorial folder. I'm going to go ahead and click this plus button, and this is going to create a new action. So let's say mandala 1. Why not? So now you'll see this little red light down here. This means that it is recording everything that you do in Photoshop. So what we are going to do first, we're going to copy this layer. So go ahead and just drag the layer down here to the plus button. This will copy it. The next thing we want to do is drag that layer below the top layer. Now you're going to hit Command T. we're going to take this centerpiece that's here. We're going to hold Alt. We're going to drag that somewhere near the center of the canvas. It doesn't really matter if you get it perfect. We can readjust later. So we're going to set it there. So this means that now any transformation is going to happen around this point. So for example, if we rotate it, I'm going to go up here so I can just show you, and we can be precise, but as we rotate it, you see that it moves that way, which is nice. And we just got to pick a rotation point. So I think I'm going to go this way. I like to have even numbers. At this point, the rotation doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be divisible by anything. I try to keep it even just because I like it, but let's go -15. We got two negatives. -15. Maybe that's too much. Let's try -10. Sure, why not? Now what's key, we can hit enter to keep that rotation, but we're still transforming. We haven't left our transform yet. And the big thing here is now we need to go smaller. So I'm just going to click on the H and drag it down to make it smaller. 85 is going to be quite a lot. It's going to get smaller quick. So maybe let's try 90, sure. Okay, now I'm going to hit enter again. We've made our transformation. Remember, we're still recording here, so we don't want to hit anything. Now what we could do is stop, and this will continue to record a fractal spiral, essentially. I'm going to go ahead and do that to show you what that's going to look like. So let's hit stop. Now I'm going to click on mandala 1, and I'm going to hit play. So you see what it's done is it has recorded everything. So it's copied it. It's copied this layer and put it below. We're going to do that again. Just keep clicking. Your computer might not like this. You can click a few times. So you can see we're going to start creating this like fractal spiral image. And I'm just going to keep going until I can't really see any difference. Is it still going? That's pretty small. Okay, I think we're good. All right, what I'm going to do is go back to the top. I'm going to just keep my top layer here, my original one. I'm going to make a copy of that. I'm going to rename that original. I'm going to take all these ones that I just made. I hold shift, click at the bottom, keep them together. I'm going to just flatten this into a layer. I'm going to keep this for later to show you, but I want to show you another action that I like to use. Okay, so we have this spiral. We'll come back to that. You can try and make one that is just one color. What I'm going to do now is take this original one. I'm going to make a copy. I am going to go ahead and right click this. I'm going to just actually apply the smart object. So rasterize the layer. It's just going to be easier with what we're going to do. So I'm going to take this original copy. I'm going to go to mandala 1. I'm going to hit play. Boom. Now what we want to do is add something to this action. So go ahead to the last part of the action, which is transform. Now we're going to hit record. And what we're going to do is now we are adding one more thing into this action. Hit Control U or Command U. This brings up a hue saturation adjustment. And we're going to do something quite subtle. So you could go and change the color, whatever you want. I'm going to make it very subtle. I'm going to hit -5. So this, every time we transform this, it's going to change the color, but just a little bit. So you see hue saturation has been added to our action. I'm going to go ahead and stop that. Now, when we hit play, it's going to go like this. Same exact transformation again. I'm liking this line along the side. That's going to look good. Just keep hitting play again. You can see the color is changing. It's quite subtle, so it's kind of creating this like rainbow gradient hue. But it's going to be quite subtle. I don't even know if we're going to get into reds. Maybe not. So it's up to you. If you did a bigger number on that hue change, you're going to see a greater difference faster. All right, that's good enough. I can't really see any difference there. What we're going to do is select all of these again. Oh, we do not want our spiral. Let's keep that to the top. And let's rename that monochrome spiral. And let's take all of these. Hit Shift, click the bottom. We're going to hit Command E. So we still got our original piece in its original location. What we are going to do now is save. Because saving is good. Just save it wherever you want to. I'm going to save it on my desktop. Mandala tutorial. I call it a mandala. It's not really mandala. It kind of is a mandala. It's whatever you want. It's psychedelic art. It's fun to make. It's not hard to do. Once you do it a couple times, it'll be very easy, and there's lots of ways to play with it. So let's take this new spiral. I'm going to call this Rainbow Spiral. And we are going to duplicate this. Just copy it right in place. Now what I want to do is I want to rotate it to the very end of my spiral. So try to find it there. We're going to take this copy, hit Command T, Command or Control T. What we want to do is now transform this. We're going to rotate it. So hold the Alt key and then click at the end of the spiral. So now you can see it's going to rotate around this point. We want to rotate as close as we can to there. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the better you can, the closer you can get, the better. Now what we're going to do is rotate. So you can go right to the corner where you see this round one here, or you can go up here and drag. I'm going to go ahead and do it here. Let's find that. So you can see now it's going to rotate around. And what we're going to do is just keep copying this and do this over and over and over again, right? What is important at this point is whatever your rotation is here, it needs to be divisible. It needs to divide equally into 360 because we have our position here. Our position is 0. And we go all the way around. It's 360. But what we want is we want it to end up right back in its original position. And in order for that to do it, it has to be divisible, or it has to divide evenly into 360. So, for example, like, oh, I should have done that. Now I gotta go back in. Command T, Alt. Let's put it there. If you are holding it here and you're rotating, if you hold Shift, you can rotate it by 15 degrees. 15 is a good number, goes evenly in. It actually looks quite good for us. So you see there's not really any overlap here. What we don't really want is any white space. So we want to try to cover it up as much as possible. So 15 is not enough. 30 looks pretty good. Let's see what 20 looks like. So let's go -20. That is also looking nice. Yeah, let's go with 30. So I'm going to just go ahead and type it in. -30, boom. So we could have made this an action again, where the rotation is just at that specific point, and it's for -30 degrees. But a little hotkey that we can use here now is to hit Control-Alt-Shift-T, and it is going to copy the layer and apply the transformation. So it's doing the exact same thing again. Control-Alt-Shift-T, the magic keys. And we're going to just hit that again and again and again until it goes all the way around. So we did it by 30, so that should be 13 or something. Boom. Wow, we made a spiral. Very cool. So I'm going to stop there. And now we have our spiral. So what do we want to do? Sometimes your spiral won't overlap. It will overlap. Well, what I like about the feathering is you can't really tell the difference here. But if you don't use feathering, you're going to see that your last layer is actually sitting on top of this. But every other layer is tucked underneath. But for now, I think this is looking pretty good. I'll try to demonstrate that with a hard edge. Let's take all of these. I'm going to just put it in a group for now, so hit Command G. Now I'm going to select the screen and center this also, hit Control A. And then you can make sure you're on V, your move key, hit up here, just center it right in the middle. So cool, we've made a spiral, look at that. Super trippy. I would usually do it in a bigger size than this because like you start to lose some pixel quality pretty quick when you get closer, but for now it's looking good. There's a lot of things that we can do with this now. For example, you know what, let's make this a smart object too. It'll just be easier than a group. So right click, go to convert to smart object. So again, if you needed to edit or you wanted to change something, you can go in there. You can see our spiral that we've just made inside of the group. You can close that. So now we have our group. Let's go ahead and duplicate it. One thing that you will have just noticed now is that the colors changed a bit. The reason why is because we have feathered our image and there's some colors that are coming through. So you can see it's not complete. So you could do this a couple times if you really wanted to fill it all in. I'm not sure I'm that worried about it for now. Let's just go with this one. So we have a copy. What I'm going to do here is hit Edit, Transform, and flip it horizontal. So because we censored it, it is right on top of the other one. And what we can do is here is reduce our opacity. If you reduce it straight to 50, you're going to see the two images cover each other, and you get kind of a different type of mandala that you could create here. So it's kind of almost like a lotus kind of lattice work coming through here. Another thing we could do is, let's put that opacity all the way back up. Depending on your colors, you could multiply it. You could go through a lot of these different ones, just see what you see. That's kind of nice. It's like a psychedelic picket fence tube. Overlay is kind of fun, kind of plays with your vision a bit. So up to you, you can try all the different things out that you want. What I'm going to do for now is just keep it normal. Let's go ahead and we're going to bring up some guides. So go to View, New Guide Layout. And here on columns and rows, just put it at 2. So this will find our center point and make it really easy. What we're going to do is delete half of this. So take your your selection tool, or go to the marquee tool here. And we're going to drag out. I'm snapping to my guides. If you're not snapping, go to Snap. Click on Snap here in the view. I've selected half of it. I'm going to go down here and click a layer mask. And so now you can see, let's see, how do we get rid of our guides? What's the hotkey? Show guides. Control semicolon, get rid of that for now. So yeah, now you can kind of see a different shape that's forming here. Let's invert this mask to just make it the other way. So now you've got this kind of thing that's coming out at you. Depending on what image you've used, it's going to look, you know, this pattern should look quite similar, but yeah, it's always going to look different every time. So yeah, we've got something very strange happening here. But cool, that's basically how you do it. Let's try it with the monochrome spiral real quick and just see what this one looks like. So we can do the same thing. We're gonna go ahead and copy this. Let's zoom in. Control T. Put it close to the end of that spiral there. We could try a different rotation this time. Go 30 that way. Let's try 20. This time we'll do positive, so it's going to go over the top of that other part. I don't think it's going to look as good because I like that line. The line that we had in the other one is what really allows this spiral to kind of take shape. But let's see what happens otherwise. So again, we go here. We're going to Control Alt Shift T. And we're going to keep on keeping on. Okay, here is the problem that I was telling you about, trying to explain last time. So we've gone all the way around, but each layer is kind of tucked underneath the last one. And so now this one's sitting on top, so it's kind of ruining the spiral effect that we have. So we need to try to get rid of that. What I would say the best way to do is we're going to copy this last layer, 17. Copy that one. We're going to put it underneath the spiral here. So now you see if I get rid of this one, okay, now the thing is just shifted. So we want to keep this, but what we want to do is take the original one. That's this one here, that's underneath. We need to put this on top. So the way that we're going to do that is hit Control over the image here, and that selects that layer. We're going to go up to our top one that's bothering us. We're going to create a layer mask. And let's invert that. And boom, it's tucked it underneath. That's pretty good. Do we need to have this one? I don't know if we did. Sometimes with the gradient, it's just a bit weird. So that's why I put this one down here. Just kind of fills it all in. But yeah, so now we've created another one. I think I might actually like this one more. It's quite trippy. I'm going to hit F. Let's get it full screen. Yeah, that's cool. So you kind of get all these pieces. This one really plays with your eyes a lot, so it's quite nice. So sometimes the monochrome one is quite nice, just keeping that same color. Sometimes it's nice to have a variety of colors. But yeah, I'm really liking that. All right, let's play around with it a bit more. So we have the whole thing. Let's select it all. Let's right-click, convert to smart object. Now we have our spiral. Let's hit Command A, V, and go ahead and center that again. Let's make another layer, copy it, put it on top. Edit, transform, flip horizontal. Let's hit Control and semicolon, bring those borders back up. Let's try the other side. We're going to just select half of our screen here, create a layer mask. I'm going to hide those grids again. Not much difference on this one. Only a little bit, but I kind of like the original more. All right, that's fun. All right, so we've got this one. What we could also do with our other one that we have on top, right? Let's get rid of that layer mask. So this is just flipped on the other side. And what we're going to do is just reduce that opacity to 50%. This is going to play with our eyes a lot. So what we're doing is you're losing some sharpness in this one, but what it's doing is creating a lot of shapes that are going in the opposite direction. So I think that this one really plays with our eyes a lot more. We could potentially add an adjustment layer here. Let's try a levels. Because what I want to do is bring more of these black parts out. If you don't see your adjustment layer, just go to Window, Adjustments. So we control this one. It's going to remove the black part. We can also bring the white in. And this is kind of the middle ground of that. Maybe that's a little better. Yeah, I think that's nicer. Yeah, quite trippy. What you could also do if you wanted to like make it a tunnel or something, make a new layer. Get your brush tool out. If you right click, you can make it, you know, soft as you can be. Let's go ahead and make the color black. And then right in the center, just click with it feathered, and then boom, now it's like a tunnel. And you could make that effect more dramatic, make your brush bigger, turn the opacity down quite a bit. Right, you're making that a little bit bigger. Now we've got a nice psychedelic tunnel. The other benefit of this too is like if you make something like this quite a lot bigger, you can play around a lot with it in After Effects. It's not that difficult to animate something like this. A simple rotation would really have quite an effect on this. So for example, you could animate this like rotating around that. but you'd want to be doing that animation in After Effects. But a lot of simple things you could do. And that's just an example of something else you can do here too, is just rotating this maybe somewhere that you want, like that. But yeah, and then, you can just constantly play around with this stuff. We could take our other ones that we did before. Right, we could take this one. Let's put this in a group and just reduce that opacity. Now it's on top of both of those. Put that right at 50. Or you get rid of that. Now it's got this spiral in it, a little bit of color. Another thing too, for example, if you wanted just this one, right, you took this in After Effects, another transformation you could do is just, even if you just animate the hue, you can make it be coming through really easy. Super easy in After Effects, and just combine that with the rotation, it's gonna look real nice. And that is it. There are lots of ways to play around with this, so hopefully you can create something fun and exciting for yourself. Let me know in the comments if this worked for you or if you have any questions, and I